Well, in this short video, I would like to introduce a couple of books on the history of mathematics. I was reading a book essentially from a calculus book from James Stewart, and in his book, essentially in one of the chapters, he introduces basically a couple of books on the history of mathematics, and these seem to be interesting books for those who are interested in the history of mathematics. So the first one is A History of Mathematics, 3rd edition, by Carl B. Boyer and Uchab C. Metzbach, or whatever the name is. I hope that I'm not pronouncing the names wrong. Now, one thing that I need to say about essentially about these books, I have read none of these books, but these seem to be interesting books related to the history of mathematics and the history of essentially mathematics from ancient times all the way up to calculus and even after calculus. So this book over here is well, it's A History of Mathematics, 3rd edition, the ISBN 13, ISBN 10, and all of these you can see over here. This book seems to have basically, this is from Wiley 3rd edition, so, and it's a paperback, 688 pages, and that's essentially, and you can essentially find this book, I don't know, wherever you happen to be, you could find it from your essentially from the seller of your choice. Essentially, the second book is The Historical Development of the Calculus, and this is by C.H. Howards. This is from 1979. This also seems to be an interesting book. This is from the this is a German publication, Springer Verlag, and it seems to have essentially 368 pages, ISBN 10, ISBN 13, so you can essentially note down these and get the books if you're interested. Also, basically, there is another book over here, which is an introduction to the history of mathematics, Saunders series. As I mentioned, I've read none of these books, so I cannot say anything about the contents of these books. This book is by Howard Eves, and the publisher is Cengage Learning, 6th edition. The hardcover, 800 pages. This is ISBN 10, ISBN 13. Seems to be an interesting book. And then basically there is another book over here, which is Mathematical Thought from Ancient to Modern Times. This is the illustrated edition, and this is by Morris Klein. Okay, and then basically this book is this book contains around 1264 pages. This is ISBN 10, ISBN 13, so you can basically, this is 1972. So you can get this. This is from the Oxford University Press, so you can get this book if you're interested as well. The thing about this book, about these books, is that usually you have to, I mean, if you're interested in the history of mathematics, you have to essentially get all of them, and then you will find something in this book, something in the other book, and so on and so forth. And then about the same book, Mathematical Thought from Ancient to Modern Times, it seems that there is 3 volumes of this book, as I can see on Amazon. I don't exactly know what is the difference between the illustrated edition, but it seems that this edition is the illustrated edition, and as I mentioned, it has about 1264 pages. But then there is another series of the same. It seems that they are the exact same book, meaning that you have Mathematical Thought from Ancient to Modern Times, Volume 1, first edition, and this is from the same author, Maurice Klein. And so basically the book is, you can see that this is essentially Volume 1. So there is Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 2, and Volume 3. Okay. So this one contains 390 pages, ISBN 10, ISBN 13, and there is a couple of sentences about these books. I will read them. Then there is the second volume. This is Mathematical Thought from Ancient to Modern Times, Volume 2, new edition. I don't know what exactly what difference is, but then this one seems to have, this is from the Oxford University Press, from the same author. This has basically 480 pages. And then there is the third volume, which is from the same author. And this book seems to have 1211 pages. For it kind of, I mean, again, this I don't understand myself what this thing is. So it says that this comprehensive history traces the development of mathematical ideas and careers of men responsible for them. Volume 1 looks at the discipline's origin in Babylon and Egypt, the creation of geometry and trigonometry by the Greeks, and the role of mathematics in the medieval and early modern periods. That's a hard word to pronounce. Volume 2 focuses on calculus, the rise of analysis in 19th century, and the number theories and the number theories of essentially these two authors, these two mathematicians. The concluding volume, which must be Volume 3, covers the revival of projective geometry, the emergence of abstract algebra, the beginnings of topology, and the influence of Gödel, that must be a mathematician, and recent mathematical study. So essentially that's essentially all of these books. Now you need to, again, since I have not read any of these books myself, I cannot say anything about the contents of these books, but they seem to be interesting books. So if you're interested, you can buy them and take a look at them, see if you can essentially find something interesting. Of course you will be able to find something interesting in them. So that's all about basically a couple of books about the history of mathematics. Thank you.